Would you like to save hundreds of dollars on your food bill and your herbal supplement bill every month, which could potentially add up to thousands of dollars per year? This is what I do by gardening in my backyard, and you can do it too. It doesn't take acres and acres of land. It just takes a little bit of knowledge and some good planning, and that's what I'm here to help guide you through today. So let's dive in. I can save on average $300 every month on our food bill, and that's just for my hubby and I. And so potentially you could double that if you had a family of four, and depending on if you buy organic or not. Most things I buy organic if I don't grow them, but I have added so much to my backyard garden over the years that I've learned to eat seasonally, so that a lot of times I don't have to buy groceries in the store anymore. So that's what I'm hoping to help others out with, to learn how to start small and keep adding and learning, and eventually you'll be able to feed your family most of the year, with the exception of maybe a few exotic things that you may not be able to grow. But for your basics and your staples, it's very doable, and you don't need acres of land. Like I said, you just need some good planning and know the right varieties. And through my videos, I hope to guide people, especially people that are beginners and just starting out and really don't know where to start, into seeing that it's possible, and you don't need tons of money and you don't need a ton of acreage to actually grow your own food, and quite a bit of it. I'm going to give you some examples of savings, the actual numbers. So I made a few notes so that I could remember the numbers, so I could kind of give you a few examples of just the money that you could save, as along with all the other good positive reasons why you should grow a garden. But just one of the examples that I have are sweet potatoes. Now, they take a while to grow, but if you have a corner of your yard that you have enough space, you buy 2 sweet potatoes and you have to grow slips, what they call slips, that grow out of your actual sweet potato. Now, if you have 2 sweet potatoes, you can grow 20 little sprouts. It's like a little sprout that comes out with a stem. And you take those slips and you plant the individual slips in the ground. I have a video about this if you would like to see how to do that. If you just start out with 2 organic sweet potatoes to grow your slips, and those are usually what I could see, 2 sweet potatoes would run you, organic ones, about $4. Just 2 sweet potatoes will grow 20 slips. So think about that for a minute. You spent $4. You're going to plant 20 slips. Each slip itself potentially could give you anywhere from 4 to 10 sweet potatoes. You will have about 50 sweet potatoes. And if you figure how much do sweet potatoes cost in the store, so if you think about potentially even if you round it to $2 a sweet potato, 8 sweet potatoes, 1 sweet potato that you got 10 slips off of, you have literally a savings of $17 just growing sweet potatoes and just eating 2 a week, just 2 of you. So if you multiplied that with a family, of course that would be more. But because everything I'm basing my savings on are 2-person household, just by growing sweet potatoes, I'm saving $17 a month approximately. And I try to eat organic mostly, with most things, but even with cheaper sweet potatoes, you'd still have a pretty substantial savings. And then another example would be just like your romaine, your Bibb lettuces, those kind of things in the store, for about 100 seeds. We grow those in the fall here, and you can get a packet of seeds for about $2 on Etsy. There's a lot of family growers, and they grow in the same climates that you do. If you pick the grower from the state that you live in, that's an advantage too, because those seeds have already been grown in your microclimate, so they're going to grow well in your particular garden because they're already used to that type of weather. That's another little trick. And so if you buy from someone in your region, you're not only helping a family that has a small business buy their seeds, those seeds have already been acclimated to a climate similar to yours, so you're probably going to have more success. You are going to have more success planting those kind of seeds, and they're less expensive. And I usually pick the seed suppliers that have no shipping costs, and that usually keeps the cost down of my seeds also. I priced them the other day, and they were $4 a head for organic lettuce. I bought a seed packet that was actually, this one was $2.99 because they were more specialty seeds. But there were 200 seeds in there. So I'm actually paying 1 cent per seed. So if I ate one head of lettuce per week, say, then that's $16 a month. And the seeds that were the equivalent to that were 8 cents. So I'm saving almost $16. I'm paying barely anything because that I bought so many seeds. I can potentially use those seed packs for the next 2 or 3 years, depending on how many that I plant. And I plant a lot of lettuce. You can kind of plant those pretty close together because they don't mind being a little bit crowded, especially if you're growing in zone 9B like I am in the fall. They don't mind being closer together. Those are little spring onions with the green at the end and the little tiny bulb. If you have just a little container, you can plant a whole bunch of those, and you can either pull out the whole onion or you can keep clipping the green off the top. But in the store, they were $3.50 a bunch, and I bought 100 seeds because the ones that I like, again, were a little bit specialty. You can get them a little cheaper than this, but they were $3 for 100 seeds. If a bunch usually runs about 5 or 6 bunching onions, make one of those little bunches. If I just use one bunch per week, that would be $14 a month from the store, and it would cost me 72 cents for the seeds, in all, the ones that would be the equivalent of that. And that's a savings of $13.28. And tomatoes, same thing. Some of the most expensive things that you'll find are going to be bell peppers. I looked at the green peppers and the red peppers. Now, bell peppers, the red sweet kind, they are more expensive because they take longer to mature. So the sellers, of course, they're longer on the vine, so they charge more for those. And they're $2 a piece or $2.50 a piece per pepper. I just checked yesterday when I was taking my mom to Publix. She just had surgery, and I took her out for the first time, since she had it done, and she wanted to get out and walk a little. So we went to Publix, and I checked them yesterday, and they were $2 something a piece. You can buy some of the best varieties of bell peppers for $2 a seed pack. And you can buy one pepper plant for, if you get it on sale, $3 at the beginning of the season, to $5 if you don't want to grow them from seed, because it does take a little longer for pepper plants to germinate and mature. But even if you bought it, one plant is less than 3 peppers, and one plant can live for 3 years. I have this one right here, this tall one. That's a 3-year pepper plant. I've had it for 3 years because I overwinter it, and it's still growing strong. And it gives me probably 3 peppers every 2 weeks. And if I let them get red, and they might stay on there a little longer, so it might be every 3 weeks, but you figure the amount of savings. If I'm getting peppers for $2.50 a piece, the red peppers, and say, I eat 3 peppers per week. I cut them up and put them in salads, or I put it in, cook it with chicken, or chop it up with onions and peppers for, a dish. I mean, that's not very many peppers. That's 3 a week. Even if that's what you were doing, that's $30 a month just for peppers. So I can grow those from the seeds for 8 cents. So that's a savings of almost $30. And that's 1 month. If you're planting what you like to eat the most, or what maybe is the most expensive thing that you eat, see if it's possible to grow it in your climate. If it is, when is the season? Start going on Etsy or even Amazon, and buying some seeds and then look at, either follow me or follow someone like me that can, kind of walk you through when to plant them, when's the best time, how to treat them, how to feed them, the nutrition they need, the sun, all those kind of things. And you would be amazed how successful you'll be and how good you'll feel growing your own food. You have to start somewhere. So why not start today? And I encourage you to do that. It's the best feeling in the world. It's going to improve your health. If you're like us, you would, number one, like to eat healthy. Sometimes that isn't even possible because it's so expensive to buy in the store and even more expensive to buy organic. So sometimes that might make the difference. If you grow it, then you might be able to eat more organic if that's something that you want to do and save money at the same time. Even if you don't buy organic and you plant what you like to eat that you normally don't buy organically in the store, you're still going to save money and it's still going to be healthier for you and your family. And if you don't have the infrastructure like the garden beds already set up and you don't have this big expanse of somewhere that you can put all these plants, start like I did. These right here. I have all these containers. I don't know if you could show the camera, I can move it. Right, it's kind of behind this arch right here. But you see that those long planters? Those are flower planters. And I use those to plant turnips because they're kind of small, and beets because they're about this big. They don't need a big, huge, deep root system. I used to use those to put lettuce. I'll show you this right here. This lettuce in there. That's kale. And you can see my lettuce in there. And those containers aren't super huge. They're not super deep, but they're enough to have my little, what I call my little kitchen garden. I like come out here and get some lettuce, get some kale for dinner that night. So just start there if that's where you want to start. Kale, for instance, one bag is $4, and that was on sale. That's organic, of course, but the one that wasn't organic wasn't much cheaper than that. And if you had one bag every 2 weeks, that's $8. So that's $16 a month. That's just to say if you were eating kale and salads and using it for sauces and soups, and it's super good for you. And I bought a seed pack of 200 seeds. It equaled out to be a penny per seed. And those plants will live more than a season. Kale can last through fall. They can make it through winter because they're very cold hardy, all the way through early spring. And mine even lived through the summer when I gave them a little bit of shade cloth to give them a break when it was like 100 degrees outside. And they lived all summer. So that is a year-long plant. I don't even have to use that many seeds. And so that's a savings of $16 a month just from kale. Herbs are even more of a savings because for a little bunch of herbs, I priced them in the store and they were $3 for oregano, $3 for basil. Cilantro was a bunch like this, $3. Parsley was about the same. I bought seeds for a few of them originally when I started, but it was really difficult to grow them, so I started just buying a couple of plants. And my basil plant was $4, and I've had it for 9 months. So I'm just keep snipping and snipping and snipping off of that. So if you figured one plant $4, had just one bunch buying it in the store almost paid for my whole plant. So it's amazing the amount of savings from herbs, especially that you could, oregano, use your basics, basil, thyme, cilantro, parsley, the ones we all use. So if you start adding it all up on paper, you'll see. Now, if you don't have, like I said, a big infrastructure as far as the garden beds already in and all that, the soil, probably take 10% off of, your profit as far as, or your savings. And that's about what it'll cost you to start up with your soil and get a little bit of fertilizer. And you don't have to fertilize constantly, especially during, if you're growing something during the season that it likes. You treat the soil, you make sure your soil's healthy, you get some compost in there, whether you buy it or you make your own, and try to keep your soil, feed it organically so it keeps the microbiome and the whole the whole bacteria and worms and everything that's going in there healthy. Then plants will grow without having to fertilize them a lot. And there are home fertilizers that you can make, and I'm going to be getting into that a little more in future episodes, but videos. But as far as coffee grinds and all the things that you've probably heard about, you can fertilize with. But even if you just get the organic fertilizer in granular, and then you get some fish emulsion, those are two that will last you probably throughout the season. You don't need tons of them, especially if you don't have a super big, huge operation. So definitely consider buying maybe some herbs and starting a couple of your own favorite things to eat at home to grow, and add to it, learn from it, add to it every year, and you will see that you could feed your family in less than a quarter of an acre or less than a third of an acre of land for the whole year. And it definitely is a stress reliever, and it gets you outside in vitamin D and the sun and the fresh air. So it's a win-win, and it's a fabulous hobby to have. I hope you found this video informative and helpful, and I hope it spurs you to start some of your own gardening. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I love to hear from you, and I really appreciate you joining me today. It means a lot to me that you would take the time out to be here with me. Until next time, go out and make yourself a great day.